Right, so here we are with question 5. I think it was the November paper, did you say? 2023. And we've got some spinners going on. And I think the first point is just to get into what do these spinners look like and feel like. So spinner has 4 sides, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the spinner spun, the score is the number on the side of which it lands. Okay, now the probability is not the same for 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it's not, a fair spinner where it's a quarter each. So let me pull it up straight away where I've got a pretty much to scale spinner idea here on the top right. I'm just going to, my pointing is going to go right and wrong when I try this. But anyway, so you've got our red spinner there. And so the probability of getting a 1 is 0.28. Now, just as an aside, maybe interesting point is, if we spun the spinner 100 times, then our expected frequency of 1 would be 28. We don't know it's going to be 28, but the probability tells us that we'd expect 28, from the probabilities. Now, the probability that a 2 comes up is 0.12, because we know it says that's what we're going to show in a second, that it's 0.12. And the probability that it's a 3 is twice as much. So that means that the probability is 0.24, right? In 100 throws, we'd expect the frequency to be 24. So that's why if you look at the picture up here, I've got the area of 2 is whatever it is there, and the area of 3 is twice as much, and the area of 4 is 3 times as much as 2. See how it matches those probabilities. So hopefully that visual and this little aside is worthwhile, just thinking through those things. Okay, well, we know that something happens, right? If you spin the spinner, it's a 1, 2, 3, or 4. So therefore, the sum of these probabilities must be 1, which helps us show that P will end up being 0.12. Okay, now in part B, we add 2 more spinners. We add a blue spinner and we add a green spinner. And these spinners are fair spinners, 0.25 in 1, 2, 3, or 4. So that's why I've shown it there. Equal areas, 25% for each. So before we look at the question directly, if we wanted to look at the probability of, say, getting 3 1s, we would get a 1 with the red, a 1 with the green, and a 1 with the blue. Well, the probability of getting a 1 with the red is the 0.28, and the probability of getting a 1 with either of the blue or the green is 0.25. So we could just write it. That would be a short way of writing it. So that would be the probability of getting 1, 1, 1. Okay, now let's read the question, and not coincidentally, obviously we've half got into it anyway. Find the probability that the sum of the 3 scores is 4 or less. Well, the sum of the scores of 1, 1, 1 is 4 or less. It's 3. So we could just play with the options here, and I don't want to go too much. I'm in danger of doing that, and I think I've done that already, which is, well, we could have 2 1s and a 2, right, in any order. I think you can see that anyway. So I'll leave it for you to add up all those probabilities here and identify all the scenarios. Okay, now for the next one, we've got a little bit more work to do, and that's find the probability that the product of the 3 scores is 4 or less, given that X is odd. Now, we've got our same spinners still all around us, spinning around, and X is odd, which means we only allowed odd numbers for X. Okay, now the product must be less than or equal to 4. So just note that quickly, the product, not the sum this time. So we could have things like 1, 1, 1, 1 times 1 times 1 is, of course, less than or equal to 4. And we could also have things like 1, 2, 2, that would work, right? 1, 2, 2, because 1 times 2 times 2 is 4. Now, of course, you might already be thinking, wait, it said that X is odd. But what does X represent? The probability distribution X is given below. X is for the red spinner, not for the other 2 spinners. So there are a few little details here that are worth just seeing there already. So 1, 2, 2 would be a fair option for us to have, because that would give us a product that is less than or equal to 4, and X, the red spinner, is equal to an odd number. That was weird phrasing. Sorry, I'm switching things in the background to keep everything working. Okay, so maybe you got into it already. Just the last part is maybe, well, wait, probability given that x is odd. So our probabilities, we've always got some sort of numerator over a denominator. Great writing. And it's given that x is odd. So that's telling us already what our denominator is. And for our numerator, we must have both x odd and the product is less than or equal to 4. So, our denominator, well, there's only the situation where the red spinner is 1 or 3. And all the other options, of course. And then our numerator is, that must be a 1 or 3. And the product of all our spinners must be less than or equal to 4. Okay. Probably too long. 6 minutes, way too long. Okay, but gives us some ideas at least. Hopefully useful.